And we're back. Welcome back to another episode of the Cleaning Out My Closet podcast. You're here with Cool Sean, Brown Sean, Jew Sean, Puerto Rican Sean, the sexy Sean, Sean that makes your dad come, Sean that makes your mom moan. I fuck your dog, I fuck your cat, I fuck your sister, I fuck your cousin, your grandma. Dead or alive, doesn't matter. I'm in there. You know it. Joined here with Julian, the host with the most.
What's going on, guys? We are very lucky on this particular episode. No Ginger Sean, so,
Of course.
That's just always a bonus for everyone.
Oh yeah, I feel better. The space just feels more open, more free-flowing conversation.
Oh,
It doesn't
for
feel
sure.
as restricted. I
And
get
you don't have
tired
to look
of
at
that.
his nasty, rocky-looking
Oh god.
mask face.
Yeah,
Just
totally. Just
disgusting.
looks like the guy from Mask. And if you don't get that reference,
Google it.
how old are you?
True.
I'm concerned. This is weird. But okay, so last time we left off, we were doing the Johnny Depp episode. Bit of a serious episode, talking about a lot of controversial. I don't know about controversial, but hot topic stuff.
Right.
So we had to take a break, but
Due to
we said
the
we were going to be
time.
taking a commercial break on the last episode, but
not
what
gonna
we
lie.
actually wound up having to do was just split it into a two-parter. So this is actually part 2 of the
Dos.
Johnny Depp episode. So we're going to be picking up exactly where we left off on the first one, which is we're going to be listening to the audio files between Johnny and Amber Heard. And we've picked off specific. Oh my God, I almost did Sean's Pacific
Jesus
bullshit.
Christ. Just leave right now. Get the fuck outta here,
Pacifically.
piece of
Okay,
shit.
Pacific points. We need fucking shirts that say this on it. It's so annoying. His stupid ass. He's not even here, and his energy is still permeating the fucking air.
I know. I tried cleaning it, but apparently Lysol
Pacifically.
wipes does not get rid of it.
Like I'm a fucking idiot.
I mean,
Jesus Christ. Okay,
It's
so
debatable.
we've picked specific points.
with an S.
Yeah, that we're gonna be going to and talking about, and then we'll just like listen, give a little bit of feedback to it, and then there you go. We'll pick up from there, and we'll go into everything else. So here we go.
Alrighty.
First part.
Oh, you got married for security and for safety. So did I. We did not get married because it was something that we're doing, because it was something we could walk away. We wanted a foundation. No?
I wanted to make you my wife.
Yes, but you could just have me as your girlfriend if you didn't want the foundation. And you told me, and maybe you go back on it now. Fine, okay, cool. Lie about that. I don't know. You told me you wanted a foundation. You told me you wanted the security. You wanted the safety. You liked the foundation. At the beginning, you said, I really like having that. It feels safe. So don't argue with me when I say it now.
I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, yeah, but you had to pick it apart.
By saying because I loved you and you're my wife, I wanted you to be my wife. That's picking it apart.
No.
Then how did I pick it apart?
No, I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight about a fight. I don't want to fight about the semantics. I want to
How come when I come up with a point, you can't answer it? You don't want, or suddenly you don't want to answer it?
What am I not answering? Because I don't want to fight about this new thing? No, I don't want to. I said you wanted the safety and security, and you stopped me, you interrupted me, and then you said, what? Because because I wanted to have you
I
as my
didn't
new
interrupt you. You asked me, right? You said right?
I meant you interjected. I meant you said. You said. How about that? See, now, is this better? I answered you. I addressed what you're saying. Now, can we please not fight about that?
And I said, because I love you.
All right, so that's the one of the first little
Segments,
snippets,
yeah.
of the clip, the full audio clip between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I mean, obviously, this bitch is fucking crazy.
Well, literally from the immediately you can tell, and we picked this like a ways into it because the argument starts like 2 minutes
Oh,
into
yeah,
the
yeah,
video.
yeah.
We're like 9. We started at like 8 something
Mm-hmm.
minutes into the audio file, so we're way beyond where the argument started. We just picked a part that we felt was pertinent to the conversation that we're having, which I think immediately the first thing that's illustrated is that the entire relationship is just toxic as
Oh,
shit.
no, 100%. It's
It's so
ridiculous.
toxic. There's absolutely no way you could call this a healthy relationship.
She's a fucking bully.
I mean, she's literally just like, you can tell his demeanor is completely different. He's,
Oh, no,
he's
he's just
literally
like-
like this soft-spoken,
he just-
defeated
he just-
man
yeah, he
who
just
doesn't
done.
even know how to communicate with this person who keeps like interrupting and constantly, you can tell, just wants to be right, and like there's no arguing with this person
And
at
then,
all.
well, even when like he says he brings up a valid point, she just like, well, and then like tries to
Yeah, how am I trying to invalidate your point, or something
Yeah,
like that?
I was
Like,
like-
he's picking apart her argument, and all he did was ask, "Wait, what? How?"
yeah,
And she's just like, I don't need this. I don't need you to pick this apart. Let's not fight about this now.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Let's not fight about another
He's,
fight.
he's asking like a valid question. What, How
Right.
is she's just like, I don't want to fight about this. What?
He's like,
how
I don't
come?
wanna
How come
fight.
you won't answer my questions? Like, it's a valid fucking point to make.
Mm-hmm.
He's not now. He's making a different point, which is, why won't you just answer my first point? And she won't even do the
She's kind
second
of making
thing.
his point for him by doing the shit that she's doing.
She really just comes across as like just a terrible person in these tapes. We've already listened to them.
Yeah.
Like, we're just going back now and going over things that, you know, were
Discussing
very
it, kind of breaking it
interesting.
down a little
and,
bit.
Yeah, that gives a very specific. See, I said it right there.
Sort of. Like just a
Very
bigger,
specific points
yeah,
that like
just a bigger
illustrate
picture.
how
Mhm.
terrible their relationship clearly is, and how wrong for each other they really are. Because
I mean, damn,
I don't know
she
if
is
she's right
hot,
for
but-
anybody. She's fucking nuts though.
But yeah.
I mean, I told you in the last episode, she had a charge for assaulting her previous ex from
yeah.
like,
So I mean,
I don't know,
It's obviously a
2010,
habitual
2008.
thing. I mean,
Oh yeah, she's got a problem. She's got a fucking problem. All right, next audio clip. You got it queued up for us?
yo, minute marker.
11:28. All right, guys. While he's doing that, we're going to do a little stretching. We're going to stretch the
we're
pelvic
good.
bowl.
Pelvic
All right,
bowl,
fuck it.
dip and dip and dip and go.
Go.
It happens often.
If you think I'm some fucking tyrant or bully, then don't fucking be with me. But don't sit here and insult me like I'm the fuck up because I have the
But you're the
audacity to
one
get
saying
mad.
that I'm the tyrant and the bully and at the same time the
I have
guy
called
that
you
runs
bully.
away and
You run away every single fight.
Okay, so I mean, then what are you?
Then I'm not
doing
lying
with me?
about it.
Then what are you doing with me?
I already answered that.
Okay.
So with this one, I mean,
I've got a fucking.
I got a lot of stuff
something
to say about this as well. I mean, obviously, kind of what Brown Sean was just saying previously on the last clip. You can just hear it in Johnny's voice. Like, he's just at the point. He just is not. He's just done. He doesn't know what. Like, there's no
Walking around like a man with a finger cut off.
phrase. Yeah. Basically, but it's like, you know, he's like, he's done everything. He's like, is removing himself from those situations, so it does not get to a physical does not become physical, because obviously she has done that in the past. So the only way from, in his mind, which would be logical thinking, okay, if I just remove
Right.
myself from
Get
the
away, yeah,
situation,
get away from
let
the
her cool
situation.
down, and we're not having to deal with that, and then
Right.
she's has problems with that as well.
Yeah, she's just like, where are you going, bitch? Get back here.
Yeah,
Take your
let
beating
me
like a
beat
man.
your ass.
Yeah. No,
How am I gonna vent up all this frustration?
Not
Get
even
this
on.
pent up frustration.
Yeah. She's like, I messed up a line on Aquaman today, and he's like, okay, I'm so sorry, honey.
Yeah, she just comes home from set. How was work, honey? I fucking messed up. He's just like, oh, god damn it. Not again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the room, darling.
He's like a battered 50s housewife. Like, he's just like so defeated, and like, I've got your cocktail ready. Like, when she walks in, there's a roast in the microwave. I don't know where the fuck you cook. I put a roast in the
I mean,
microwave.
I probably wouldn't. It'd take a while. Don't let Sean cook.
So my fucking issue with this, right, is the mentality, the argument of, if I'm like this, then why are you with me? I absolutely cannot stand. I abhor this kind of like mentality, this argument of, I'm a piece of shit, so why the fuck would you bother being with me?
Mm-hmm.
That's total horseshit. My girlfriend does that all the time, and the last time she did it, I flipped out on her.
Yeah,
because I was
called her
just
out
like,
on it.
no. I was like, no. You don't get to do that. You don't get to say, I'm such a fucking scumbag, so why are you with me? Stop pretending like your terrible behaviors, your toxic behaviors, the terrible shit you do is you. That's you. That's your personality. No, it's not. No, you're not a fucking person that beats people and cuts their fucking fingertips off, you psycho bitch. What's wrong with you?
She might be,
Well,
though.
no, she has fucking problem. Well, I guarantee you, if he clocked her in the fucking teeth, she wouldn't be anymore. Like, If
I mean, she looks like she's a scrapper. She might come back, man.
So I just think it's fucking ridiculous when someone acts like insane without reason and they just want to fly off the handle and they go, well, this is just me.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to accept what
Yeah,
you
it's
get with
fucking
me.
so stupid.
It's ridiculous. Like, no, go to fucking therapy. Have you tried that? Oh, wait, it's not you? You're just being a dumb bitch? Okay, then. Stupid cunt. Like, I'm so sick of people who make that
100%.
argument.
I mean, it's just a lazy excuse to not try to
Fix
better
yourself. Fix your own
I mean,
problems.
I understand the whole thing, like, you are who you are. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's certain things that obviously are, affecting not just your life, but the people that are around you and and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously a problem that needs to be corrected. And if you're too just
how are we
arrogant
gonna-
to be, be like, oh no, it's just who I am, accept me for who I am, kind of a thing. That's just stupid.
How the fuck are you supposed to start a relationship with someone who's just like, or a marriage, the what's supposed to be the highest echelon of like a relationship you can have with a person?
I thought it was Super Saiyan.
yeah. Fucking stupid. But basically, like, how the fuck are you supposed to do that when the whole concept of all of my toxic behaviors are just me, and if someone doesn't accept them, then there's something wrong with them, because if you
Right.
want to love me, you have to love all the terrible shit I do, which is just completely false. Like,
100%.
when you start a relationship, the other person is there to make you realize, they're there to help you realize a lot of the shit you do isn't okay. If you think about when you start a relationship, like within the first like 3 to 6 months, how much you change and grow as a person,
100%.
you both grow together.
No,
That's
for sure,
That's
for
the
sure.
point. You figure out, you're letting them know, hey, it's not just that this behavior isn't okay with me, it's that it's not really okay with anyone. And you should probably try and fix that, not to appease me, but to make our relationship work better, and so that, your relationships with other people work better as well. Because this behavior doesn't work with other people either. Like, it's not like she goes to her fucking parents and goes, I didn't get the part, and starts fucking kicking her dad in the stomach.
I mean, we haven't heard any stories yet.
Yeah,
but
her
I
parents
mean,
come out.
Yeah, everyone just comes out. She's been beating us since we.
What
were...
if her mom is like, she learned it from her mom, and her
Oh,
mom's
God.
been beating the shit out of her dad? Her dad is just like Johnny Depp.
He's got a bunch of wristbands
Like,
on.
we see an interview with them, like, and her
They're the same
her
age.
dad is just standing behind her mom, curled up like in a fucking ball. He's like holding her purse with both of his hands.
God. Oh god, I can
All
see
right.
it happening.
Do you want the next timestamp?
Yeah, we'll go to the next timestamp.
1350. All right, while he's doing that, we'll get back to those yoga poses. All right, downward dog, everybody.
Or trying to justify how you don't.
Oh, I'm sorry,
or do come to the
1315.
door.
That's my
Based
bad.
on
Oh
whether
shit. This guy's a fuck.
All right, downward dog. Like I was saying.
All right, we're back to it. It's first day interning.
Yeah.
Still better than Ginger Sean though.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I don't even know who that
All right, shut the
fucking
fuck
piece
up.
of shit is. Go.
It's not true. I'm not the one who fucking throws fucking pots and
That's
whatever
different.
the fucking else at me.
That's different. That's one does not negate the other. That's irrelevant.
I love how
It's
she's
complete
just so
non sequitur.
nonchalant.
Just because I throw pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making
No.
non
I'm
sequiturs.
giving you a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come to the door
No,
based
I'm
on whether I throw
justifying.
pots and pans. It's
No,
irrelevant.
I'm justifying how you seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
Okay, that's fucking hilarious. How
She's so
she's like,
fucking-
yeah, no, I fucking,
Oh, little audio interference. My bad.
I think we're good.
We're good.
She's like, I think, what's it called? I do throw things. Of course I do.
She's
But
just so
that's not-
nonchalant.
she's-
That's
yeah.
not the issue right now.
That's
though.
not the issue right now. Yeah, of course
like,
it's not
bitch,
the issue
That's
for
not
you.
the issue.
She's like, I think we need to communicate more. And
While
why
you're
aren't you
throwing
more
pots
open
and
with Yeah.
It's like, yeah, bitch. I'm
Bitch, I
definitely gonna
tried,
start.
but they were sewing my finger back on. Nigga, I didn't want to have a conversation with you right then.
Oh my god, she is nuts.
It's
So
ridiculous.
I mean, with that, that's just the fact that she, for one, is just coming out and just saying it like nonchalantly, like, yeah, just like, yeah, of course I'm throwing pans at you, but that's not what we're talking about.
Right.
And then she's like, why won't you talk to me? Like, she doesn't, like, it's just insane to me.
She talks to him like he's detracting from the
Yeah.
conversation. Like, she's like, why are you bringing that up? That's not important.
It's like, that's one of the root of the problems of all
kind
this.
of fucking
Yeah.
important. Nigga. Like,
You're beating me with pans.
if I cut one of your nipples off, we'd have a problem, wouldn't we?
Probably. Have you ever seen one nipples?
Yeah, that's fucking insane to me. That
Yeah.
it's just, oh, that's not a big. Can we move on already? Like, Jesus, have we
And then
not
she's
talked
like,
about this
question,
enough?
like, then why won't you, like, the issues you won't talk to me? But it just boils down to the
Why
fact.
won't you talk about this?
It's like, bitch, you are insane.
You're trying to move away from this shit. How about we talk about this shit for a fucking second? You got a hot second just
She
to
just
talk about
bounces
this?
around. Anytime he brings up any type of relevance to the argument, she's just like, well, right now we're not talking
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
she wouldn't even like
Acknowledge
answer
it.
his points from the last audio file that we played.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't even answer him. She's just like, everything you say is bullshit. It's unimportant. All your arguments are unimportant. They don't pertain to what I'm talking
At
about,
this
so it's not
particular
important.
or doesn't make me look good right now.
Well, because like it's not what she wants to talk about, so it's not important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I guess if she wanted to talk about beating the shit out of him, then she'd be like, "Oh, well, I've got paragraphs to talk about that, but it's when I feel like it."
Have you ever seen that movie Misery?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what I
of course.
imagine it's like.
Okay, guys, go watch Misery just for context. If anyone has or hasn't seen Misery, I feel like it's an essential movie. Like,
Oh, for sure.
like it's just one of those movies. I don't want to. It's I'm not putting it on the pedestal of being like an amazing film or anything like that. But I just think it's one of those quintessential films that
No, it's
like
a good one for sure.
everyone should see. It's like saying like you haven't seen like The Green Mile or like The Matrix or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you haven't seen that, like what the fuck?
Probably a terrorist.
Yeah.
We'll be honest.
You were literally living in a cave.
Allah Akbar.
You got the next timestamp or you need it?
Yeah, next timestamp is
1840. All right, downward dog. All right, we're going to be moving into child's pose. Now, this position is really good for get you nice and open. I recently saw on TikTok a bunch of poses to help girls like arch their asses better to get fucked.
Oh, that's.
I know. I sent it to my girlfriend.
How'd you take that?
She scrolled right by. She was just like, "You're an idiot." She didn't even say anything. I sent it to her. She watched it and was like, "Whoop."
Next,
Which that was the only reason I did. All right, go ahead.
we got the audio clip here.
By the way, I'm sorry that I didn't
You,
hit
punched
you
me.
across the face in a proper slap, but I was
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
you. I was not punching you. Babe, you're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
No, even a lot of things been around a long time. I know. Yeah.
No, when you fucking
I
have
love
a
the whole
closed
person
fist.
jab.
Yeah.
You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this. But I
No,
did not
fuck. You've been
punch
around.
you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you.
You can't
I don't know
deck
what the motion of my
It's a
actual
bitch try me, can't deck
hand
me.
was. But you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
How
How are your
I'm not
toes?
sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are.
Oh,
That's the difference
these
between
poor
me and you.
toes.
You're a fucking baby.
Because you start
You
physical
are
fights?
such a baby.
Because
Ew, fuck off.
Because you start
Joey.
physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the
Because-
fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know, you are admirable.
Okay.
Every single time. What's your excuse when there's not a physical fight? Then what's the excuse then?
I just want to say, how are your toes?
How are your toes?
That's
That's gonna be our new
hilarious.
merch thing. We're just gonna get a thing that just says "How are your toes" and just have like a silhouette of Johnny with his
So
glasses.
I'm wondering, and I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. I think that has to do with the position of the way a person punches, the way your toes are like curled inwards and like positioned like your feet. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's why he was asking.
Maybe.
Because I don't know. I've never taken like a formal boxing
The only other
class.
two things I was thinking of is either she got like a petty done and you're just like saying something about that, like just to be like throw jabs at her.
Maybe he's got like a foot thing, like a foot fetish, and he was like, "How are your?" No, he's like, "Can we stop the argument for a second? How are your toes?"
For a second, really though, how are your toes?
Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. I love that moment because that's one of those moments where even in such a serious situation, Johnny Depp remains to be such a fucking creep and a weirdo. Like, as iconic as a character actor as he is, he's always just been like in my mind just a giant fucking weird dude.
He's an odd guy for
He's
sure.
so weird. He's
But Johnny
like
wants to know,
completely American,
how are your toes?
but talks in this weird fucking accent like he's almost British.
I love it. But
Yeah.
no, but I love in the audio clip how like he just remains completely calm, and
Yeah.
like she just like it like triggers her. She just gets more mad the more like
Oh, that's the
calm,
best.
and
That's
just
the
like
best.
that's the way like my girl is as well. Like if I'm calm with the situation, and if I'm not like freaking out, it like pisses her off because I'm not getting pissed off.
Right.
I'm like, you rather me get pissed off? Trust me, we don't want that. Like.
I love how she just can't admit that she punched him. She goes, "Yeah, I hit you across the face."
But she's like, but you
But
weren't
it
hurt.
wasn't a punch. She's very specific to say she will not admit it's a punch. She's just
I'm
like,
sure that's more-
"Yes, I closed my fist. Yes, it hit you directly in the face. No, it was not a punch. More akin to like a nudge."
I love the old person jab that she throws.
Oh,
too,
that's
too.
great.
She's
Yeah,
like,
you've been around a while.
yeah, you've
You've
gotten
seen
a lot
a
of
couple of
fights.
hits.
It's like, what the fuck?
You fucking cunt, man. Why you gotta be
She's
such
fishing.
an asshole, dude?
Just trying to get him pissed
It's not
off.
enough to beat this man.
You gotta
She has to
belittle his
fucking,
age.
Yeah. She's like, "You're old. Your dick doesn't even get up like it used to. We've been married for a year and you can't even fuck me."
How are your toes?
Do you think when they're fucking, she donkey punches him?
Probably.
like
I could see that. And what happened
and
was
for
the
those
last
of you
time
who
she
don't know what a donkey punch is,
you probably shouldn't be listening to this podcast. In all
this
honesty,
isn't the place for you, that's for sure. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I love the differentiation between hitting someone across the face, as she puts it.
Well, and then
and
she keeps changing it. She's
not
like,
punching.
I slapped you, and she's like, well, it was open or closed fist, and then she like, keeps going. I was like,
Yeah,
bitch,
yeah.
you fucking punched him.
It's a punch.
If you're throwing,
and
if you're
even
throwing
it-
pants at
even if it
someone, you're
wasn't,
punching them.
What the fuck does the difference make? You
Right.
hit him. You still hit him. I mean, it's this whole idea of just like, well, I'm not as strong as you physically, so it's like, why is it a big deal? But that's not the whole point.
Right.
Your intention
Still-
was to hurt somebody, because if he was weaker than you, you would have hurt him more. So like,
And if she could, like, if she had the
yes,
physical power
exactly.
to do it, then
and
she
sometimes
would.
that is the case. There are some men and women whose physical dynamics are different from the norm. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Ginger, he's very, very
he
weak.
gets beat by every woman he's ever met.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's for sure.
But I mean, in that case, it's on him though. He deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been beating him since we met and started hooking up.
I mean, he's got one of those faces. You just kind of have to.
Oh, I agree. For sure. All right, next audio file. 2222. I think this is the last one. So we're not going through the whole thing, because the whole thing is like, what is it? Like, is it...
Like almost 50 minutes, but it's a lot of the
Nearly
same
an
shit,
hour.
honestly.
Yeah, we picked the points that are the most important to basically illustrate how fucked this relationship is, how big of a piece of shit aMbEr Heard is, and how much of a actual and literal victim, not ironically, that Johnny Depp really fucking is in this situation, and the situation of how the media's portrayed him and everything. He really is a legitimate victim.
100%. So, all right, we're going to play the next clip.
All right.
This different person, and it's wonderful. You're this, and then sometimes I'm like struggling to stay connected with you, struggling to have 5 minutes with you, struggling to connect with you, struggling to have my friendship with you, and I can't fight with you. It's like, but they're so chronic that I have to go, what the fuck has changed? What thing has changed?
Probably pots and pans.
Do you not remember how different?
He's a little bit lighter without that
You
fingertip.
were so different. You allowed me to.
Beat you?
I allowed you to what?
Present, and you were so present, and we were allowed to fight. We were not even fight. We had arguments.
All right, so that's that clip. So from what I'm hearing, obviously, what we've been saying the whole fucking time, she is just nuts. She keeps, making it seem like in her head, everything that she's doing has a reasonable, it's like a reasonable action.
Right.
And then she gets triggered when he starts doing something. It's like, well, remember when we first started dating, you were so this, and that, and now you don't want to
Well, you
even
didn't beat me then,
Yeah,
bitch.
exactly. It's like, now you don't want to even be around me. I can't even get 5 minutes. It's like, I wonder fucking why. If the situation was reversed, I don't think you'll want to be fucking hanging out either.
Like, brass knuckles hurt.
Right?
God damn. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. All the issues in their relationship are, he's changed, you've changed. What are you doing? Like, remember how it used to be before you changed? Now you just keep running away. And he's like, yeah, I run away because you fucking hit me all the time, you crazy motherfucker. Yeah, I honestly, I don't know how the fuck. I don't understand how this fucking guy. I feel so bad for him. I literally like I can't believe it didn't wind up worse than this, and the fact that all of this finally came to light now, years after this shit initially started, and the misinformation and all the lies
How
were spread
must
about
have fucked
him
up his career too.
so immensely. I mean, we've talked about this in the first one, like how much he lost, and he's now suing.
Well, good, he should. I mean, but still, it's not gonna make anything.
No,
You know, it's
I mean,
not gonna change anything.
He'll get some stuff back, you know, roles and everything like that. But
Still. Now, I mean, that kind of brings me to our next little topic or segment related to this, which is like a personal story from me that happened with my ex-wife a long time ago. But essentially, what had happened is
you were rich and famous, and you lost a bunch of roles too.
exactly.
Oh, so then it really is pertinent. To
No,
the
exactly.
situation. Right. Okay, tell me more.
No, so she had the week off because she was a teacher. So it was like around Christmas time. So we had Christmas break. The reason why I remember that actually is because it was the year that the Mayans predicted for the fucking world to end. And it was, so that's how I remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
So anyways, she had been home all day and she had been drinking, you know, for a good chunk of the day because she had, you know, no work. So by the time I got home from work, she was, you know, pretty drunk. And, you know, I just got home from work. I was tired. I wanted to take a shower. She wanted to, you know, to go to the bedroom and do some things. And I'm like,
Hey.
I just got home. Let me shower. And like I said, she was pretty drunk. And I was just like, not into I just got home. I wasn't just trying to do that right off the bat. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I take my shower and get out. And she, like, by the time I'd taken a shower, she had drinking like a couple more glasses of wine. So she was like fucked up. So at this point, I had no interest at all, like, in doing anything sexual with her. That pissed her off. She's like, why don't you want to have sex with me? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Oh, boy.
because you're fucking drunk. Like, you know, I'm not trying to be in that situation. I haven't had a drink at all. And you're like about to pass out.
It's different when you're both parties are equally drunk.
Exactly. But I'm like, haven't even had a
Sloppy
drink in
drunk
me.
isn't attractive to sober.
It's not. It's just not. So that escalated into this huge fight.
If it is, you've got a problem.
Right, 100%. It ended up getting to the point where it was almost physical between her and I. She started grabbing shit off the table. There was like a mug on the table, like a coffee mug, and threw it. And she missed me the first time, and then she like ran around the table to pick it up and threw it again.
How
and
big
that
is
shit, she wasn't that big, but still, like I was just like trying not to like let shit break. So I'm like ducking. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm not, I'm not drunk, so I'm just looking at it like a sober person. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's just pissing off because I'm not trying to fight with her. So eventually the fucking cup ends up hitting me. And I'm like, no, we're not fucking doing this. So I grab her, put her on the ground. I'm holding her there. I'm not like hitting her or nothing. But I'm like, I'm not getting hit
You're
anymore.
restraining her.
I'm like, yeah,
she's
this is
being fucking
ridiculous.
difficult. Yeah.
So she starts freaking out. She's like, just let me the fuck go. Blah, blah, blah. You're fucking killing me. I'm like, no, I'm restraining you because you're trying to fucking hurt me. I'm like, we're not doing this. So after I'm like, let you calm down and I'll let you go. So she calmed down after a little, like, let her go. She starts freaking out again, throwing shit around. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So she goes to the kitchen, starts breaking
choked her
shit.
ass out.
I should have.
Yeah, that would have avoided a lot of issues.
Long
then.
story short, though, the cops end up getting called.
Of course.
She tells
Was it one of you or a neighbor or something?
No, she calls the cops.
Okay.
She calls her mom and tells this whole story that I abused her. She has all this stuff on her. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? So her mom, tells her to call the cops. The cops show up. I'm like, I'm not dealing with this shit. So I was like, fuck this. I end up leaving, calling my mom, like, I don't know what I should do. She's like, just head back to the house. So I head back to the house, and they had been gone by then. So next morning, I get a call, and my mom's like, the sheriff's just called me.
Of course.
You have a warrant for your arrest.
Of course, yep.
I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Did you stay there that night?
Yeah, I stayed there at the house. Yeah, no, she wasn't there. She left with her mom, I guess.
I was gonna say I'd kick her ass.
Yeah,
out
no.
for
So
that
then
shit.
I'm like, all right. So I turn myself in, and I'm getting charged with all this fucking shit of domestic. I don't even know what the charges were.
Right.
And so I'm trying to plead my case. I'm like, no, this is exactly what happened. I show him the bruises, and the cop's like, no, those look like they've been there. I'm like, really?
Oh,
That looks like,
man.
I was like, this a mug shaped fucking bruise on my inner thigh. What else would I get that from? He's like, well, what do you do for work? I'm like, what do you mean what I do for work? I was like, I work at a semi truck company. He's like, well, could you got it from there? I'm like, no, I couldn't. It's like, well, it looks old.
What does that have to do with fucking anything?
Exactly.
Anyways, I mean,
So I was instantly
Why-
the fucking bad guy.
yeah, like why
regardless,
is your,
they didn't dig into anything.
why is your account and testimony about the situation not taken as serious and credible as hers?
Exactly.
Like you're presenting evidence to the contrary of what she's saying. So why isn't that taken as seriously? It's credible. Why isn't it credible? You were there. She was there. I mean, what's to say that you're not telling the truth? I mean, she could be lying. You could be lying. But why isn't it taken? It's not taken seriously, and that's the problem I have with it. Is just that they don't know what happened. The only people that do know what happened are you and this other person. But why can't you be taken seriously? And it's just from the matter of fact that you're a man. You're a very tall guy.
It's shitty.
You're a bigger build. So they're just like, oh, like this shit would never happen.
Yeah,
You're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Crazy is crazy.
And the thing is, like, you're fucked if you do, and you're fucked if you don't, because even like if you try to like, be the person that's like removing yourself from the situation, they still like if they're crazy enough, they keep badgering, keep doing
it's like
shit.
the same thing with Johnny Depp.
It's
He's trying to get the fuck away from
it. I'm just
she
like,
won't
what the
let
fuck?
him.
Yeah.
Well, what are you doing? Why do you keep running away from this? You coward! Like,
But-
why don't you want to have time with me?
No, it's ridiculous.
As she fucking like tries to chop your nose off and shit.
Got your nose, bitch. No, but so yeah, I mean, it ended up being a huge thing because I had to go to court for it. It cost me money for that. I had
it a
to.
lot?
There wasn't a whole lot.
Did you have to get a lawyer?
No, I didn't know lawyer. I just pleaded no
Okay.
contest
I
or
got you,
whatever.
I got you.
But I ended up having to still go to like anger management classes,
Oh my god!
and I had to pay for that out of my pocket,
Stupid.
and had to leave work early. And then to top it off, so now it just made a really weird. Like after that we tried to work it out for like a month or two.
Really?
And then we ended up just getting a divorce. But it just was super awkward because her whole family, because of this lie she told, just thought
They
I was
just had that
an abuser.
It doesn't change the like.
And then-
it'll never clear.
Yeah,
your slate.
exactly. And then
Yeah.
at the place where I worked,
Did she ever
her-
admit that she lied though?
no.
So-
We didn't talk after
I think
that.
that's a
so I
really
don't know.
strong like understanding as to like the idea of like people that stick around in toxic relationships. Like you said, you guys tried to make it work for like a month and stuff like that. I mean, she'd never admitted to telling this lie about you, and you still tried to stick it out and make it work for her.
Well, I
Not
mean,
necess-
she kind of did, but like.
But like, what about to her family?
No, not just between
that's what-
us.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm saying. But that doesn't count. That doesn't do anything.
No, I mean that's meaningless essentially because it doesn't. You didn't do it. You don't need her to tell you.
Right.
You didn't
It's like,
do
I already
it.
knew
Like,
that.
what the fuck? You need her to tell everybody else you didn't do it.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, because her sister's husband actually worked at the same job I worked at.
Right.
So I saw him every day, and now every time I walk into work, I'm like, oh great, this guy thinks I abuse
Yeah.
people.
Oh, man.
And then I'm like, who's he telling? And then
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
fuck? So I just
You're
fucking
fucked.
left.
Yeah.
And I just ended up moving
That's how
out
that
here.
shit just gets like spread and spread and spread and spread.
And that kind of brings us to our next topic.
Do you still have her like on Facebook or anything like that?
Nah.
No, like you've like
I
deaded
just
it completely?
like,
Good for
she
you.
fucked me up so bad, dude.
That's so fucking
she
crazy.
destroyed my credit. She stole a bunch of my just property. It was just a whole
Fucking
bad deal. I
crazy,
just
dude.
cut it off. I was like, I just cut my losses for
But
this
yeah,
one.
man. I mean, people stick and they'll try and make toxic ass shit work. I mean,
No, they
I
do.
think it's the nature of a human being. Like if there's some type of emotional connection between you and another person, you'll try, even when you ultimately know that it's a failure. It's just not going to work. When the two of you just aren't meant to be with each other, that people will still try and put in that effort a lot of the times. You know what I mean?
No,
Because
for sure.
you're sort of holding on to this idea of like the way your life should be and the future that you've kind of idealized in
Or
your
that
head.
even that like that honeymoon phase when you're first starting to
Right.
date, you have glimpses of that and like, oh, it used to be so this and that,
Right,
and
yeah.
then people just hold on to that. No, best advice, man, get out of a fucking toxic relationship, especially if it's
Yeah.
like at that level. I mean, there's
I
nothing you can do at that point. I mean, realistically.
I met someone recently who told me about this like really fucked up toxic situation that they're in. I'm not going to say their name or anything like that, but I will say that they're going through a lot. There's a lot of toxicity in terms of like the way they treat each other. It does get physical on both ends between the two of them, and I said like that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like
No, 100%.
you got to get out of there. Like a situation like that just isn't all right. So yeah, if you're in a situation even closely resembling anything like this, the best option for you is when you can. I mean, even if you don't have the option to do it right away, try to line your ducks in a row ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like some outlets, and if you look into certain things like battered women's shelters, or even for men, there's like I don't think there is a men's shelter.
No,
I
mean there might
I watched
be,
like a documentary about it recently.
Oh, for real?
There's like one in the world, I think, or in America,
Jesus.
which is fucked because
Yeah.
like women's shelters don't take men that have been battered.
Right.
By definition, they're not allowed to. So a battered man has nowhere to go when he's being fucking abused.
Twitter.
Yeah, he's just gonna rant about it. So basically, if you can, you know, if it, I understand that it's not possible for everybody to get like a secondary secret apartment or line up a place for like someone's couch to crash on or anything like that. But always ask for help. When you're in a situation like this, always ask for help. It's hard, and you don't always want to go to your friends and family and admit your own shortcomings or the shortcomings of the person you've chosen.
I think that's a
spend your
lot of it
life with.
too.
Yeah, you don't want to change the way that your family and friends look at that person or even you, because you don't want to be looked at as a victim
Right.
in this kind of situation. But it's always something you have to do for the safety of yourself, for the safety if you might have kids, anything in that situation. Like you should always be asking for help, asking for advice, seeing if there's a place you can stay. And even if you have to fucking sleep in your car or spend the night, I don't fucking know where, but it's always better to get out of that situation than stay in it. So get out as soon as you can, regardless of whatever you're going through. But I know you've got another thing you want to get into, so.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of relates to the whole Johnny Depp thing when, I mean, as you mentioned earlier, since the original claims from aMbEr Heard claiming Johnny was, you know, abusing her.
Right.
And all the, you know, backlash that he received losing his, you know, big role in Pirates of the Caribbean and a lot of all the, you know, potential roles.
I mean, he hasn't been in a movie since I can't
since I can't remember. So this kind of just piggybacks off of that whole thing. It's a story. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, some people are familiar with it. I know they recently just made a movie about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's this guy. His name is Brian Banks,
Doesn't
and
sound familiar.
he was a football player at Polytech High School in Long Beach, California, back in 2002.
Whoa. Brian Banks, football player?
Yeah.
University? Is he white?
No, he was a black.
Oh, okay. Then
black
I want to
kid.
hear this story then, in that case. Yeah, if it's white, we just discredit it.
Like, of course. So, so back in 2002, when he was a junior, he had already verbally committed to the University of South UCS, so California, I think.
Okay.
I don't know, UCS, whatever that is. So, but he was a big, really good athlete.
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Yeah. And, he was, been doing this football thing for, since he was a kid. That's what his goal was, to be in the NFL.
How many footballs has he done?
Like 6.
Okay.
And a half.
So he's good. He's really
pretty good.
Near in 10. All right.
Going close. But he was accused of rape by a...
That took a turn.
Yeah, it did.
It was super bright future. He was just like, he's a really good guy, made a pledge to play fucking football. He was... Yeah, and then accused of rape.
But that's what I'm saying. This girl accused him of rape. He was sent to jail for, I think, like 6 years. And then he...
Wow.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Got out and was
How
on
old was he
parole.
when this happened?
They tried him as an adult when he was 17.
Wow.
Yeah. So he lost everything.
Oh my God.
It comes out.
Don't tell me this is taking the turn I think.
Yeah, so he loses everything, finally gets out, and the girl admits that it was false. She was not raped by this guy. So now, but it kind of has a good, not a good ending, but a better ending than most. He still ended up playing in the NFL.
Oh wow.
So he plays in the NFL, And she actually, because of the false rape, she's actually ordered to pay $2.6 million
Holy
back.
shit.
Yeah.
Does she have that kind of money?
Probably not. She's not a football player.
They should make that a part of the deal. Like, she has to join the NFL and then play every opposing game against him.
She just gets to fucking just beat the fuck
Oh,
out of her.
fuck, dude.
But no, but seriously, that's just
Wow,
like...
that's probably... But the crazy thing about that is that might be the best possible outcome for that situation.
Not everyone's an athlete. Not everyone ends up with a
that's horrible.
good outcome like that.
I mean, he wound up still going to jail for 6 years. Tried as an adult at 17.
You know how
imagine
fucking
at
terrifying
17 years
that
old?
is?
Dude, I went to juvie when I was like 18, 19, no, 17, 18, somewhere around. I think it was before I was 18. I went to juvie. And that shit was terrifying. Well, first of all, the block that they had me in had like 2 attempted murderers and like a bunch of gang members and shit. It wasn't like kiddie shit where it was like, oh yeah, they fucking like hit a bunch of mailboxes and stuff like that. It was like literal gang members like throwing up sets and shit. And then like 2 attempted murderers. One of them was like a fucking like KKK like super white trashy white boy with like a bunch of like Aryan tattoos all over him. Yeah, it was fucking terrifying. So I couldn't imagine being in like big boy jail. Shit.
At that age too. Like...
Dude, I cried. When I was in juvie, I fucking cried. I was like, ah. Because they told us like I didn't cry that night. But because for those of you who don't know, that juvie is just like prison. Like the way it's set up, the way it looks, they chain your whole body up. Yeah, dude.
Especially the butt stuff.
They handcuff you and they wrap the chains around your whole body, around your waist, around your legs. They cuff your ankles together. They cuff your wrists together. Then they cuff those together. Your whole body is encased in chains when they make you travel anywhere. There's a whole system to doing everything. There's the guard box that's like got the casing and the glass and everything like that. The doors, it's got those big metal fucking doors with the slit for the little screen window, and it's got a toilet in there and a slab of concrete that you sleep on, and they give you like this little thin fucking thing.
You remember those fucking masks that you used to use in gym class like in elementary?
Yes, that's what they give you.
That's exactly what
That's
it
what they
is.
fucking give you. And
Yeah,
and the lights don't turn off. There's no windows, so you don't know what fucking time it is. The lights do not ever turn off. You just have to go to sleep with the fucking lights on like that. And it is what it is. And I fucking cried the next day because when they told us, or it might have been a couple days from that, 2 days, something like that, when they told us the time to get picked up by our parents to be taken out.
It had passed.
they had said that the time was at a specific time, and if the time passes, that we can't leave. And we were supposed to leave at a specific time, but our court thing got delayed and we got caught in traffic.
Shit.
And so everything was backed up, and then when we finally got back, it was late, and they had put me in the wrong fucking cell block.
Oh shit.
So I was like, I'm gonna be here for another day. So I cried.
Man.
I fucking cried. Yeah. And my buddy, he cried too because we went in together.
Oh, you're like, oh, there's my bitch.
And one of these days, I'll tell you the story of how that happened, and it's really fucking stupid. It's not worth it. I've done way bigger crimes, and I should have been caught for one of those.
Oh, those are the worst, though.
Yeah, everybody made fun of us when we told them what our story was. They were like, really?
Shoplifting bubblegum.
I can't fucking believe that, dude. That story fucking sucks. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But like you were saying though, that is like one of the best outcomes from that shitty situation. There's a lot of people that have similar, things that happen to them,
yeah.
and they don't, like I said, they're not football players. They don't ever come back from it. They lose everything, and that's it.
I mean, that guy's lucky. You're lucky if you only serve some jail time. That to me would be like, wow, you're lucky. That guy, wow, I can't like. That's an incredible story. Hearing the ending of that.
Yeah.
But honestly, most guys, that wouldn't be the outcome. They would just wind up losing their scholarship, losing the program, like not getting into whatever, like NFL, NBA, anything like that, MLB. They just wouldn't get into it. They might wind up in prison, falsely accused, and might spend 10 years or more serving a sentence for a false accusation that never happened. The person may never come forward and say that it was a false accusation because they have only incentive to keep lying, not to give themselves up.
Why
because
would
then
then
you
they
filed
get
a false police report, and that's a fucking felony right there. So they don't want to fucking have to deal with that. So I mean, kudos to her for at least coming
I
forward.
was
but
saying I didn't really see too much of as far as why she came out, or if she got caught, or if she came out
right.
because she just was guilty. But she what ultimately ended up being, she admitted it, I guess, and the judge, said you got to pay like $2.3 million. Then, but even then, to me that still blows my mind. That doesn't relate to 6 years of my life that's been taken away. 6 years of memories, 6 years of whatever the fuck I wanted to do, being locked up in a fucking cell. Like, just crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess basically, so what we want to end the episode about, these past 2 episodes, is we want to kind of relate it back to these 2 stories.
I mean, I know me personally, I heard both of them when I was in school, like younger, like elementary, middle school. I know the second one, maybe not as much people have heard of that one, maybe.
Right. I don't think much people have heard.
Right.
Definitely not as much as the first one that we're
sure.
about to talk about. But I think the important thing, the reason why we want to talk about these 2 stories specifically is because...
Not specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Sean would not be proud of us right now.
He never is.
Is because they pertain to this so much. The
100%.
idea of accusations before evidence, before truth, before reality, where what someone says and accuses another person of is considered factual, and searching for proof, searching for evidence, looking for answers is considered the wrong operation, the wrong path to take, essentially.
Or just completely avoided.
Yeah. Well, why even bother? If there's an accusation made, then we should just follow that. So the first one being, and we're just going to briefly touch upon it. Literally, each story will take like 2 or 3 minutes to talk about. But the first one being the Salem witch trials. So obviously...
So before we start that, I do want to give a little kudos for Ginger Sean for one thing that he's done right. This is actually kind of his idea as far as the whole relation between the Salem witch trials.
That's true. Yeah.
And that. So we'll give him props for that. But everything else,
this is the one thing he's contributed to these 2 past episodes. Was,
I'll say in general. That's
I had a conversation with him about this on the phone, and he was just like, this makes me think of the Salem witch trials, and I was just like, oh really? Go ahead and elaborate on that. And he explained it just like this. He just goes, back during the time period of the Salem witch trials, there were a lot of accusations going on. There were a lot of people accusing the women of this town, Salem, that they were committing acts of witchcraft, that they were devil worshipping, that they were doing all this and doing all that. And what wound up happening is all these women getting killed, massacred, murdered, essentially. I mean, it's considered one of the great atrocities of the what age would you call that? I mean, it was just
16s?
brutal. I think it's 17 something, 17.
Yeah,
1878. Yeah, the 1878. Oh, but between 16, yeah, whatever. Who gives a fuck? Colonial America, essentially.
Good old times.
Correct me if I'm fucking wrong about that. Who gives a shit? It doesn't really matter when it happened. It just mattered that it happened. But the point being that so many of these women were being accused, some by men of the town, some by other women of the town, some who had bones to pick with them, who took issue with them specifically for who they were or what they did or whatever it may have been. But a lot of it just came down to the fact of, let's accuse them because we know the consequence that they'll have to take, which is death, essentially, And the idea was that you can't really disprove that someone is a witch. They have a lot of these arbitrary things that make no fucking sense. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
You've got the virus.
Yeah, wasn't like one of the things like if they set them on fire and they like it was like stupid like little things.
Yeah, there's like a one where if you throw them in the water with a bunch of stones on them or some shit, and if they float, it's a witch. If they don't, it's not a witch. But it's just like if you put a bunch of stones on somebody, they wouldn't float because there's a bunch of fucking stones on
going
them.
down.
So it's just like, oh well, they're dead, so we definitely know they're a witch, which was the right fucking move.
Good
Which is
call,
like,
guys.
if you had the power of witchcraft, why wouldn't you give yourself the ability to just float if stones got put on top of you? It's fucking stupid. But I might be wrong about that, but I know like
There's
a lot of their
something
rules
to
are
that, like
ridiculous
that,
around
yeah.
the level of just, it's impossible to disprove
Mm-hmm.
they're a witch. Therefore, they are a witch.
Automatically.
And it's impossible to disprove that this person didn't rape you. Therefore, you raped them, or
Mm-hmm.
you abused them, or you hit them, or you attacked them, you assaulted them. It's impossible to disprove that Johnny Depp wasn't the abuser. Well,
Up
that's
until
what a
these
lot of
audios.
people thought until everything came out now.
Right.
But the idea was that we shouldn't be treating him like he's an abuser until we do have the proof that
Yeah,
he
until
is one.
until proven guilty, it should be
Yeah,
the
that's how our
fucking
legal
thing.
system works.
Should be, but it
doesn't
doesn't.
fucking work if we all consider, oh, well, anything anyone says
It's factual.
is factual. That's not
Without-
the case. It doesn't make any sense, because then you can accuse anybody of any crime and then we'd have to lock you up for it regardless of anything.
Exactly.
I could fucking say that you started World War II and it'd be like, well, I mean, I guess he wasn't fucking alive, but we have to follow the law.
just do
That's what the
this.
law says. It's what the founding fathers wanted.
Sorry. Lock him up, boys.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. So that, we'll have to thank Ginger Sean for that one, because he actually gave us a good point and a good taking off point for that
No,
situation,
100%.
because that was actually probably the smartest thing I've ever heard him say.
I mean, I'd probably say the second smartest thing to come out of his mouth. The first being my cock.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing we wanted to talk about was the Emmett Till story. So for those of you who don't know who Emmett Till was a young 14-year-old African-American boy who was lynched in the state of Mississippi in 1955.
Not even that long ago. That's the crazy
It's
thing,
not.
too.
It's really not
like
that
with the
long
Salem
ago.
witch trials, at least that was like hundreds of years ago. This is
Yeah.
within like 60, 70 years.
I think the thing to take away from all of this is that regardless of how far we progress as a society, human beings are stagnant. We're stuck in this perpetual state of we're no more civilized than we were hundreds of years ago, I don't think.
Yeah.
No more civilized than
It's
the
got better
Romans
technology.
or the or you know, the people of the colonialists or anything like that. I think we've just evolved and we've gotten better technology. We've gotten better when it comes to clothing. We have a deeper understanding of this and that and this and that. But there's always that quote that's from Men in Black 1, the first one. And everyone's going to be like, wow, you're going to quote Men in Black. But honestly,
fuck yeah.
I think it's
When
a
they're
good...
sitting on
it's
the
a good-
bench?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just this simple line where he goes, a person is smart. People are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
100% agree. A person is smart. A person has the capability to be smart. A person can invent. They can change a mind. They can have a thoughtful conversation. They can place something endearing into your heart and really having meaningful connection with you. But people, the idea of a mob mentality.
That's what I was about to say, the mob mentality. That's what the...
People create this fear within each other. They start to like, all these ideas start to bubble together and all this fear comes out and all this unsettledness under the skin that we just can't tolerate, all these ideas coming all at once. And yeah, a person is smart. People are fucking stupid. And that's entirely the fucking case. That's what I think you should take away from this. But ultimately, what happened to Emmett Till was he was at the local grocery store in his town in Mississippi. And there was dispute for a long time about what actually happened.
Well, yeah, what actually transpired.
What had actually occurred. So what was said, what he was accused of doing was Emmett was accused of whistling at a white woman who I think was her family owned the grocery store or something like that. I don't know. And he had gone,
Yeah.
bye, baby. And he went home. And that night, his home was invaded by a bunch of white men. He was taken from his bed, from his family, and he was never seen alive again. Until sometime later, his body was found, I believe, in like a creek or a lake, bloated, beaten, lynched.
It's fucking just terrible.
And what wound up occurring was basically the they had basically, I think they tried him as, well, you can't do that. You can't go whistling at white women. You know what I mean? Like, it was looked at as him committing a crime. Whereas even in this day and age, you would think of that and go, that's insane. That's fucking madness. What
Right.
kind of chaotic people must have thought that that was a fucking crime?
Right, like whistling.
It's insane. But it is of its time. Whatever, we'll move past it. What comes to be later is that the woman who had made this accusation of Emmett, that woman, that very same woman, on her deathbed, eventually admitted that she had fabricated the entire story, made the whole thing up, complete
Jesus
lie.
Christ.
This 14-year-old boy's life cut short, and she just, on a whim, just on a fucking whim. But she knew the consequences of what would happen if she told that story. She knew what was going to
especially
happen
at
to
that
him.
time, yeah.
And some people might have heard this story from Dave Chappelle's most recent stand-up special, you know? He talks about it a little bit, and he explains that he has a slight amount of admiration for that woman for even having the bravery? I don't know what the actual word is. Like, to step forward and basically admit that she lied.
Mm-hmm.
But then he also undercuts that with a joke about her being a lying bitch, which is just great. It's just perfectly timed.
Well, I
and
mean, but seriously though, like
wholeheartedly accurate.
what we were saying though with the other gentleman, Brian, he had a more of a happy ending as far as his situation. Emmett did not. I mean, he was even younger than Brian,
and then still with that
his life
story,
is just gone.
The 6 years that he spent in jail, you don't know what could have happened to him.
Oh no, definitely.
He
Yeah.
could have been raped or even killed. He could have been killed.
I know
You
for
have
sure,
no
especially
fucking clue.
being that young.
And then you have to take some fucking responsibility. Now this lady, she took responsibility all the way at the
deathbed,
end of her
though.
life. It's something, but it's not enough.
No.
And realistically, this is
It's
what
not
we're
gonna change
doing right
anything.
now. The reason why we wanted to talk about these two stories at the end was to illustrate the fact that it's the same type of behavior that we saw hundreds of years ago.
In the Salem witch
The
trials.
Salem witch trials hundreds of years ago. Emmett Till's story was only 1955. That's not even a fucking 100 years.
No, not
So
even.
we haven't even reached a century since that happened, and we're still doing the same fucking thing. And I don't understand this idea, this concept of are we expecting a different result? Are we expecting, like, this is what I said, we haven't fucking changed.
Right.
The humans have not progressed in the ways that we think we have. We're still just as stagnant. We're sitting in fucking mud, twiddling our goddamn thumbs, and just throwing accusations at each other, knowing the consequences. And some people are going to wind up dead. Some people are going to wind up sexually assaulted. Who fucking knows? People are just going to have their lives destroyed. That's ultimately the takeaway. Like, just like it happened in the past. Regardless of if you get killed, if you wind up sexually assaulted, if you lose your job, anything like that, you're going to wind up with your life destroyed in these situations. And that's why we wanted to talk about these two stories at the end, to tie it all back into the fact that Johnny Depp, even though this all came to light now that it was all fabricated, all bullshit, all nonsense, these past few years, his life has been wrecked, ruined, in shambles. And it's fucking horrific. And now the media is silent after making all these accusations, after coming forward and calling him all kinds of names and accusing him of all kinds of things. They've basically just gone fucking silent. Nobody's talking about how.
Well,
it
that's
didn't
my
happen.
biggest issue with it is the fact that when they did when the original accusations were reversed, where aMbEr was claiming
Right.
that Johnny was abusing her, and everything you saw in the media was abusing this and that, he loses all this and that. Now they're
Yeah.
quiet that when the actual facts come out, so it's just shitty. Like, one, they're not being responsible as the media or whoever it is that's like, okay, yeah, we fucked up, we shouldn't have just jumped to conclusions and saying all this crazy shit without having actual facts to back it up. And then also, two, they need to just bring light to the opposite story now, that the actual story, which is aMbEr is the one that was abusing him, and bring light to that instead of just no one saying anything about it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We definitely live in a fucked, I don't want to say time, just fucking our universe, our planet. Everything is fucked. Where
It is
not to land
crazy.
on this super dark note, because this is ultimately a happy, uplifting story that this did come to light. But I think it illustrates the idea that
How fucking
people
just fucking
who
crazy it
the,
is.
the system is so easily abused. It's so easily abused on so many levels. Whether you be black, whether you be white, Asian, whether you're a male or a woman, it can so easily be abused against you, against an actual victim of an actual crime, because the narrative doesn't necessarily fit what people think it should. And so I guess the strongest takeaway is that we should always be striving to do the right thing, to make the truth come forward. The truth is the most important thing, regardless of if you agree with it or not. The truth is by far the most important thing. The only thing that'll help us get to that higher place of understanding one another, to get to a place where we're actually evolving as humans, not just as a society. Because every fucking year we're growing, we're getting closer to like this new technology, that new technology, these new kinds of clothing. As people, we're fucking stagnant. We're still living in the past.
We're farther away, if anything.
Yeah. We haven't fucking moved in decades. We're still sitting in the same place we fucking were. And if we want to get further, then we have to value the things that really matter. And nothing, absolutely nothing, matters more than the truth. So, with that being said, guys, we're going to wrap this episode up. This was actually a really good episode, I think. This ties in super well,
I think so,
to episode 1, part 1 of the Johnny Depp saga. Johnny
Depp saga.
Johnny Depp versus aMbEr Heard. Catch us on the new episode of Dragon Ball Super.
We're also going to be on, what was that, Alvin and the Chipmunks? Shipwrecked, too.
Oh, my God. Chipwrecked. I think it's Chipwrecked. Yeah,
it is. The second one's not, though.
So thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. We should have everything out to you guys pretty soon.
We're getting excited.
This is going to be good.
If you don't know, now you know.
All of our channels.
Get it.
All right, guys. Appreciate you showing up to listen to this. As always, like, subscribe, share. Make sure you're telling all your friends about us. And kiss your dad for me. Mwah. That was good, man.